Should we clap?
And...
Should we do a little intro? Who are you, Geoffrey?
Jeffrey.
Who are you? I mean, you can just say you're Geoffrey as well.
Yeah, I am Geoffrey.
Cool.
That much
Great.
is confirmed.
Yeah, and what's the name of the work and what are we watching?
This work is called 105 International Society for the Creatively Maladjusted, and
Awesome.
the choreographer is Biluš Abaffy.
Right. Can we just talk about the fact that it has 462,000 views?
Yeah, well, Alessandro
What?
Michel, the director of Gucci, was there apparently. You saw it.
Because I just looked up I was like, okay, I want to get some context for how many, what other dance has been close to this.
Yeah, how many views does Forsyth have?
460,000.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. It's like mass entertainment, I guess. It's just what it is.
Wow. Well, should we start watching? I was going to ask about the camera work and someone filming it, and if that was, because obviously that's quite it seems from watching it that it's a big part of the work, and also because at one point there's a photographer that comes in.
Yeah.
And yeah, if that other lens or viewer representation as well as the audience, what that was like and how you responded to that performing.
Like, I think a lot of the time, especially in Nana's work, it's really helpful to kind of ignore the live audience, or not to kind of pander to doing something for them, but rather being like focused on the sort of the internality and the fourth wall being like very solid. Is
that something then that you acknowledge beyond just your gaze and your eyes? Like, I guess I'm just thinking like one way to acknowledge that would be that you're not very, like, you're just really not looking at the audience anytime, or you're not really, are there other ways that you kind of actively, I guess it's not disregard, is it disregarding them? I don't know. I think now that I said, I actually do sort of acknowledge them more than I would in, say, like a ballet work or a work. Yeah.
But I guess maybe if I'm considering the camera to be the primary audience, or the thing that I'm doing it for most, then it kind of, my feeling of how I'm relating to the audience that's there live is more like lateral. I'm obviously, I'm working hard to do things well and to look good, to like yeah, I think that's another, like, the thing of like wanting to look good then
for the camera,
which is something that we kind of talk about a bit as well. Yeah, like doing things for the aesthetics of them, like
this moment that's
like
about
that,
to come up, or is
like
this,
that one
this
as well,
or like that one, or this,
oh yeah,
that one. So how do you make this look good? What are you thinking about?
Excuse me.
I actually remember this quite strongly, this image of you being up. I guess it's coming up. But when you're kind of compressed by the... But yeah, what would you think about?
I was thinking about life modelling. I think Nana was got quite into the way that I would sort of talk a lot about life modelling when I started doing it. And there's also a definite relationship to like my ballet training, and then also to this attempt to kind of approximate Renaissance bodily imagery, to try and to embody like the figures of Michelangelo.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of moments in it where you're in stillness, when you're in a kind of upward dog later on, and then towards the end when you come down and and we can get to that in a second, but then also in this moment. And I was just thinking about being in a position, being in kind of one image, and how you kind of sustain it.
Yeah.
Or I could skip as well to I mean, you probably know the upward dog moment. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end as well, like, how you kind of manage stillness.
So with Nana in particular, I was trying to think, there's a very particular way that I breathe in Nana's performances. I always breathe through my mouth in her works. It seems to help. And try to, I guess it makes me a bit lightheaded.
Right.
I mean,
like, you actively breathe through your mouth, or you just notice that that's something
like
you make that decision?
Yeah,
really?
Like, it works much better for me because it makes the space feel more empty and larger, and it makes me feel a bit more dreamy. So, I mean, I guess there's enough sort of physical and temporal space in Nana's works that I can, or I sort of do just have a lot of time by myself to sort of be with myself.
He's your upward dog.
Yeah. I was trying to fold myself in half. The other way.
And you just keep attempting and attempting and attempting and attempting. Is that kind of what's going on? Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of that thing of, that the pose that, like, it's an image, but it's one that you have to, like, constantly work for as you're in it. So you asked me, one of the questions you sent me, like, pre-coming here to think about was, like, what kind of things I needed to do to prepare for, like, the performance in general, and then also for particular moments. And sleep is one that I really use a lot. Like, I think less so in this one because it wasn't the ideal environment to have a nap, but definitely when we got back and we did the next season of this show in Melbourne, the next year, when we were at Temperance Hall, and I always, like, try and hide from Nana so she couldn't tell me anything, and I just go to sleep for a while and then try to wake up, like, just as we were, like, at the very last moment. So I was still a little bit in dreamland.
A bit dazed and confused and groggy.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, just still a bit in dreamland.
What? So you try and sleep as much as you can until right before you go on?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's it like then, performing with people that you have such a long performance history with in comparison to fresher cast?
Well, like, the really positive, interesting aspect of it is that there's much more permission given to sort of be a bit more reckless and a bit less polite and concerned with one another. Like, we sort of start to learn instinctively what each other's limits are, and how to, like, antagonize or make comfortable, and sort of, like, use that sometimes to the benefit of the performance and sometimes just to our own benefit. Or maybe that's just me, honestly.
Is that I was interested in this moment, and if this was what's going on here? What's going on here? And, like, what do you... Because there's clearly, like, some textures, I guess, is what I'm seeing, and I'm wondering how you're thinking about those textures in your body.
Well, yeah, at that point, it was sort of grown this obsession with Milo's shoulder, and we were both trying to gently catch it, like, touch the object of beauty. And so I was trying to do it with the sort of, the Biluš touch, like the sort of Caravaggio. But then, the legs are just, and the rest of the body. Yeah, I was just focused on the wrist, basically, and the fingers, and trying to get to her shoulder through that. And at the sacrifice of the grace of the rest of my body, I guess.
Or it's at service.
Yeah. And then sort of after this scene, or what this scene leads into, is that I start to forget about her shoulder and just start to get more interested in my own wrist.
Because, one of the questions I sent through, which maybe then is not relevant to this, but I was interested in when you'd still be making a lot of choices in this. I guess they're just, or they're less kind of dramaturgical choices. But what are some ways that you maybe have recognized as a pattern in yourself, or actively try to push if you make a decision that you just go, damn, that was an average decision. How do you then move forward from that?
I mean, with Nana's work, before this one was set, her sort of tip to me whenever I felt like I was not, like I was getting away from myself, or not really tapped in that sort of like clear, I don't know why I just said the word clear when I've been talking so much about obscurity, but it's sort of both. Like it's both at the same time. It's like a lucid dream. But just to like fall down.
Right.
Just to like fall and just like lie there until I've sorted myself out.
That's actually really great. It's like why fill the space with a whole lot of black hole crappy dancing?
Don't keep piling up the bad decisions.
Just eject.
Because when that happens, I mean, you're just digging your own grave.
I did want to talk about this bit because it looks really fun to do. Oh, actually.
The wrestle.
The wrestle, because I don't know, it looked like it would be really fun to do. What was it like?
I mean, this wrestle is actually, we've been doing versions of this for a really long time. I think since the first work that I ever made, which is in 2015, 2016. Yeah. And we've sort of, I think every work that we've done subsequently has featured this wrestle in some way or another. I mean, it started off as this thing of attempting to kind of like force or manipulate the other person into like our ideal version of a pose of what we wanted them to do. To sort of like try and trick and be underhanded and forceful, and then it turned into this thing where I think Nana and I are both just real sort of sensation seekers, and we like to be overwhelmed physically, and like Nana fights like a dog. She's tiny, but she'll fight you.
Really?
Yeah.
You are making it look like it's an equal meeting, but obviously you're... Yeah, there's obviously physical, like you're very strong. And I mean, not to say that Nana's not very strong, but...
Yeah, but she's a lot smaller than I am. Yeah, no, that's something that we spent a lot of time trying to figure out. She's like, we have to try and sort of work it in a way that it still feels genuine to you, like that you're engaged in this, but that I'm not just completely being pummeled without a chance to retaliate. Yeah, I think the key to when it started to feel like not like a compromise for me to have to sort of meter my physicality to what was manageable, was when I realized like I can kind of let her feel as though she's winning, and then with just one sweep of my arm, like destroy the scene completely.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
Oh, they're the Jedis.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
I think the first time I did it, in the Sydney season of the show, I was wearing this like kind of sparkly Superman type suit.
Still
Like
with these, huh?
unitard, yeah. This is attempted takedown.
Yeah, and you're staunchly not going down.
Yeah.
I mean,
The hair
pretty fun
flick.
for Maladjusted to do this as well. Like, it
Oh,
would be
she
quite...
hated it.
Really?
Well, she liked it if she could get me down on the first 2 tackles. But sometimes I go like
she runs at you.
yeah. Oh no, she really means it.
Yeah, yeah.
She was, yeah. Like, she actually is just really frustrated with the fact that she can't get me down. Like, yeah, sometimes I'd go like 4 or 5 rounds. And I'd be
You're like,
fucking
"PB."
wrecked afterwards. My body would be destroyed afterwards. And I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, you
I
didn't-
let you
yeah.
topple me that last round.
I decided.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, should we finish up?
Yeah.
Do you have any other things that you want to get off your chest?
Down with Putin.
Thanks, Geoffrey, for being my first culprit.
Yay.
Yay! You're the best.
Dance is great.
Should we clap to finish?